Chike and Obi are best friends. One afternoon, they sat down, they discussed about their future. Chike turned to Obi and said, I know of a native doctor down the hill that can help us to see into our future and see what will become. So they decide to take a journey to visit the native doctor in order to ask about their future. Getting to the native doctor welcomed them and looked into the eyes of Chike. Your destiny is tied with that of a king. That the moment the previous king is dead, he will be the next king, and that is his destiny. Then he looked into the eyes of Obi. Then he told Obi that he will be the servant of servants, that Obi will live in servitude all the days of his life. They both went to make a different decision. Obi sat down and think that I'm not going to allow my destiny to be that of a servant. So he decided to leave the village. While Chike sat down on the chair, telling the villagers that he will be the next king, that whenever they see him, they should greet his royal majesty, that he was going to be the next king. So one day, Obi decided to leave the village and move to the next village. He decided to plant crops, to grow cassava, grow all sorts of food. While Chike was still sitting down there every afternoon, he will sit down outside and be telling people to greet him as their king. 5 years passed, the previous king is still on the throne. 10 years passed, the previous king is still on the throne, while Obi in the other village has started planting and harvesting his crops. So one day, the previous king died, and after the death of the previous king, the village where Chike dwells experienced a famine. There was scarcity of food in the village of Chike. So the villagers are very hungry and were looking for where they could get food. One man said to them, "Oh, I have discovered a farm where there are lots of food. If only we can go to the owner of the farm and talk to the farm, if he can help us and feed us, then we may eat and not die." So Chike agreed, and the rest of the villagers. They went to the next village. Getting there, they saw Obi as the owner of the farm. They knelt down and pleaded with Obi, "Please, can you please feed us food and become our king?" Obi looked at them and smiled, and he agreed to their proposal and fed them. There was jubilation as they crowned Obi as king, and they were all fed. Years passed. Chike was so angry and realized his mistake, that he shouldn't have sit down doing nothing, hoping for him to become a king. While Obi, that was prophesied to that he will become a servant, is now the king. Obi became a king without being chosen by birthright, but by his actions and compassion for others. Ironically, Chike, who had expected to be king, now found himself serving under Obi. Chike was disappointed, and he learned a valuable lesson from his time serving under Obi. He discovered that true leadership goes beyond entitlement and requires understanding the needs of the people. Instead of dwelling on unfulfilled prophecy, Chike embraced the opportunity to learn from Obi's example, and also he decided to contribute to the well-being of the community under Obi's reign. Kindly like, follow, share, and also leave a comment at
It was a time of laughter, music, and camaraderie, where villagers of all ages came together to celebrate life's simple pleasures. Among the festivities was the much-anticipated village dance, where all the girls would gather under the starlit sky to sway to the rhythm of the music. But for Lily, the thought of joining in filled her with a sense of dread rather than excitement. Lily was a girl who carried the burden of believing herself to be the ugliest in the town. Despite the gentle reassurances of her family and friends, she couldn't shake the deep-rooted insecurity that clouded her every thought. And so, when the day of the festival arrived, Lily found herself retreating further into the shadows, convinced that she didn't belong among the other girls. Her parents, sensing her reluctance, encouraged her to join the festivities, hoping it would lift her spirits. With a heavy heart and feet weighed down by self-doubt, Lily reluctantly made her way to the village square where the dance was already in full swing. As the music filled the air and laughter echoed around her, Lily stood on the fringes of the crowd, watching enviously as her peers toured and laughed without a care in the world. But the nagging voice of self-doubt whispered in her ear, telling her she had no place among them. An old man sitting alone on a weathered bench, watching the festivities with a serene smile. Intrigued, Lily approached him, drawn by the air of wisdom that seemed to surround him. "Hello, young one," the old man greeted her kindly, his eyes twinkling with warmth. "Why do you stand here alone while the world dances around you?" Lily hesitated, unsure how to voice the turmoil that raged within her. But something in the old man's gentle gaze encouraged her to speak. "I don't belong here," Lily confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not like the other girls. I'm ugly." The old man's expression softened with understanding, and he gestured for Lily to sit beside him. As she settled onto the bench, he began to speak in a voice as soothing as a summer breeze. "My dear child, beauty is not merely skin deep," the old man said, his words carrying the weight of a lifetime of wisdom. "True beauty lies in the kindness of your heart, the warmth of your smile, and the strength of your spirit." Lily listened intently, captivated by the old man's words. For the first time in her life, she dared to entertain the notion that perhaps she was more than the sum of her perceived flaws. "Look around you, Lily," the old man continued, sweeping his hand towards the dancers spinning in the moonlight. "Each person here is unique, with their own strengths and weaknesses. But in the eyes of the Creator, they are all equally beautiful." As the old man spoke, a flicker of hope ignited within Lily's heart. Could it be possible that she was beautiful in her own way, just as the old man claimed? With newfound determination, Lily rose to her feet, her eyes alight with a spark of confidence she had never known before. Thanking the old man for his wisdom, she took a deep breath and stepped out onto the dance floor. At first, Lily's movements were hesitant, her steps faltering as she struggled to banish the lingering doubts that plagued her mind. But with each passing moment, she found herself growing bolder, her body swaying to the rhythm of the music with a grace she never knew she possessed. And then, something miraculous happened. As Lily danced beneath the stars, a transformation took place. The weight of self-doubt lifted from her shoulders, replaced by a sense of freedom and joy that filled her soul to overflowing. The villagers watched in awe as Lily toured and spun with a newfound confidence, her beauty shining brighter than any star in the night sky. And as the final notes of the music faded into the night, the crowd erupted into thunderous applause, their cheers echoing through the valley like a chorus of angels. In the days that followed, Lily's newfound confidence continued to blossom like a flower in the springtime. No longer bound by the shackles of self-doubt, she embraced life with open arms, knowing that her worth lay not in her outward appearance, but in the kindness and compassion that radiated from her heart. As she walked through the streets of Evergreen Valley, she was greeted with smiles and warm greetings from those who had once passed her by without a second glance. And to her delight, she found herself surrounded by friends old and new, drawn to her infectious zest for life. But perhaps the greatest gift of all was the knowledge that had been imparted to her by the wise old man at the festival, that true beauty cannot be measured by the reflection in a mirror, but by the love and kindness we show to others. And so, as Lily watched the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, she whispered a silent thank you to the old man who had shown her the true meaning of beauty. For in his words, she had found not only the courage to embrace herself, but the wisdom to see the beauty in all things, both great and small. And though her journey was far from over, Lily knew that as long as she held fast to the lessons she had learned and the love she had found within herself, she would always be guided by the light of true beauty. As the sun set over Evergreen Valley, casting a warm glow over the town below, Lily smiled, her heart full to bursting with gratitude for the journey that had brought her to this moment. For she knew that no matter where life took her, she would always carry with her the wisdom of the old man, the love of her community, and the beauty that had blossomed within her soul. And with that knowledge, she stepped forward into the unknown, eager to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead.
In the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, there lived a couple named Femi and Nike, who were renowned professors at a prestigious university. Both of them having graduated with first-class honors from Harvard University. They were proud parents of a son named Tayo, a handsome boy who bore a striking resemblance to his accomplished parents. Despite Femi and Nike's academic brilliance, Tayo struggled in school. No matter how much effort they put into his education, Tayo always lagged behind his peers. He seems unable to grasp the concepts taught in his class, consistently ranking near the bottom of his class. Femi and Nike spared no expense. They hired various tutors and arranging private lessons to help Tayo improve his academic performance. They even turned to unconventional methods. One day, Nike was in her office crying, and Nike's assistant came to her and gave her a tissue to clean her face. Nike explained to her assistant about her son's education. The assistant offered Nike a way out
by visiting a native doctor to help with Tayo's academics. They went to the native doctor's house. The man gave them a pen, telling them as long as Tayo continues to write with this pen, Tayo's problem will be solved. However, Tayo's struggles persisted, much to distress his parents. There was no changes. Tayo continued becomes the bottom of his class. They were desperate for solution. So Femi and Nike visited a man in a white garment, hoping for divine intervention from the man. They explained the situation with Tayo's education performance to the man, and the man promised them that all will be well as long as the woman prayed for Tayo in the night with this candle, and he put some of the candle under Tayo's pillow. Placing the candle under Tayo's pillow, the family hoped for miracle. Yet, despite their efforts, Tayo's academic performance showed no improvement at all. Nike couldn't sleep at night. Her heart was very heavy with worry for her son's future. She thought to herself, how come I and my husband are brilliant and we are professors? What's going on with my son? One fateful day, the family was invited for a church program. They attended the church program. After the service, they decided to visit the pastor in charge. They explained the situation of Tayo to the pastor, and the pastor assured them that as long as they believe in God whom he served, that Tayo's problems will be sorted out by God. So the man asked Tayo to kneel down, and he laid his hand on Tayo and prayed for Tayo. They left there with their spirits being lifted by the pastor's words. Tayo got home, he read his book, and he could understand, so he prepared for his examination. The following day was Tayo's exam. Tayo approached his exam with newfound confidence. To everyone's astonishment, Tayo finished his exam before his classmates, and he handed his paper with a smile to the teacher. The teacher was, "Are you sure you are done with the questions?" Tayo smiled. The teacher, with his curiosity, looked into Tayo's exam paper and was surprised. The teacher couldn't believe it, thinking maybe Tayo has cheated. So they decided to inform Tayo's parents, told them that Tayo has to recite for the exam. The next day, Tayo recited for the exam, he alone in the class, and he did very well. He handed over the paper to the teacher, and they were very, very curious to see the result of his exam. Getting the paper from Tayo, they couldn't believe it. How did it happen? Femi and Nike, Tayo's parents, watched with bated breath as Tayo returned home from school, clutching his exam result in his hands. "Tayo, how did it go?" Nike asked, her voice trembling with anticipation. Tayo beamed as he handed over his exam paper. "Look, Mom, Dad, I did it!" With trembling hands, Femi unfolded the paper and scanned through Tayo's answers. His heart swelled with pride as he saw the perfect scores, the intricate calculations, and the eloquent essay that filled the pages. "Yes, he did it," Femi whispered, his eyes brimming with tears. "Our son did it. Thank you, Jesus." Nike wrapped her hands around Tayo, pulling him into a tight embrace. "We are so proud of you, Tayo. Thanks to God for answering our prayer." They sat together as a family, basking in the glow of Tayo's success. Femi and Nike knew that their journey was far from over. There will be challenges ahead, obstacles to overcome. With God by their side, and their unwavering faith and love together as a family, they were confident that they could face anything as a family. And so, as the sun set over the bustling city of Lagos, Femi, Nike, and Tayo stood together, united in their bond and their belief that miracles were possible even in the face of the greatest adversity. Do you believe that Jesus can still perform miracle in your life only if you invite him to that problem that you're going through? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.